I don't know if anybody paid any attention to my feet, but I'm wearing hiking shoes right now because we're getting ready to head out of town to Williamsburg after church today, and Donna's getting stronger and stronger when it comes to walking the park, and so I figured I'm going to have one up on her. So I got me an expensive pair of hiking shoes. You know, Donna was doing a happy dance up here a while ago, but y'all ain't never seen nothing till you saw her. She actually got invited to preach one time at an all-black Pentecostal holiness church over in Lynchburg a few years ago. Not me, but her. And I sat in the back and watched her, and about halfway through, I asked the Lord, "Where is Donna, and what did you do with her?" She will surprise you from time to time at what she can do. Speaking of miraculous women, Lisa Witt is here with us this morning, and I've known her for about 20 years, and she has never aged a day. What kind of a deal did you cut with the Lord on that? I'd like to know, because I'm falling apart here, you know. I mean, wow. You know, that's pretty good. Some of us, you know, age well, and some of us just go to seed. But nonetheless, anyway, we're going to be looking in Colossians chapter 3 for just a few minutes this morning. And even though Candy has said it's the Advent and it's the Christmas season, I'm still kind of stuck on Thanksgiving because I didn't get to say nothing Wednesday night. I wanted to say what I was thankful for, but we had so many great testimonies, and y'all pray. Bert, half the church is on the road somewhere this morning, or in the bed, or I don't know, or out sick, but a lot of them are actually traveling. But we had a really big crowd here Wednesday night, and a lot of people got to say what they were thankful for. So in Colossians chapter 3, we're going to look at verse number 12. Put on, therefore, as the elect of God, holy and beloved, hearts of mercies, kindness, humbleness of mind, meekness, long-suffering, forbearing one another, forgiving one another. If any man have a quarrel against any, even as Christ forgave you, so also do ye. And above all things, put on love, which is the bond of perfectness. And let the peace of God rule in your hearts, to the which also you're called in one body. And here we go. Be ye thankful. That's our biggest problem in America today. We're not thankful. And it washes over quite often into the church bodies. And we've got to be very, very careful about that, because we need to be a thankful people, because no matter what in the world is going on, God is good. He has been unduly good to us. And so I just kind of looked down a list this morning. I sat back there and made a little list of some things in this church that I am thankful for. And the first one is, it's always been the heartbeat of our church. Since the time we started out there in Timberlake, we would do that. And that is our food bank. Our food bank, Tina and Robert and Gina and Melanie and oh my goodness. Come on, give me some more. Vicky. And yeah, keep on, all of them. I can't remember my own name this morning, so y'all need to help me out. Russell, definitely Russell. There were two people that came to church one day, and one was a visitor and was an old friend of mine, and my mind went completely blank. And I went to try to introduce them, and I said, you know, it ain't no need me doing that. Y'all introduce each other, because I wanted to know who in the world that was visiting. But seriously, our food bank staff is unparalleled. I've never seen a group more committed to that. And we're going to be making some new deacons in the next few weeks with these folks that have really proven themselves to be just absolutely amazing. The food bank is running off of the grace of God. The equipment down there is very old, very outdated, but it's still running. And I know God will keep it running until such a time we have the funds to replace it. But most people have no idea the thousands and thousands of people that are fed out of that food bank every year. It is absolutely amazing. And the way prices are going in our country right now, a lot of elderly and people on fixed incomes have to decide whether or not they're going to eat or get their medication. And you know, that should never, ever be in America. I mean, we are the land of plenty. And as long as that food bank is downstairs, there's no need in anybody going hungry. It really isn't. And God keeps supplying it and supplying it, even though it is really tough out there. Our electric bill is about $1,000 a month to keep them freezers and refrigerators running downstairs. But I'm going to tell you, it's worth every penny of it. And people donate money to help it keep going, and I thank God for that, because the food bank is part of a commandment in the scriptures of we are to take care of the poor and the needy and folks that are lacking and so forth and so on. And so that is really our heartbeat. And so I will do everything in my power to make sure that that food bank always stays open. And I am thankful for that this morning. I'm seriously, I mean, we got a lot of people working down there that have all kinds of health problems and they just keep chugging, they keep working. And I just am so grateful for that. A lot of them are full-time down there doing that. And I'm just so thankful. Another thing that I am thankful for is the fact that our church actually has a 30-minute TV program that's played several times a week on Chantel Cable. I think it's channel 15, and the station is called Alive TV, and it is owned by Gethsemane Baptist over in Lynchburg. They operate off of channel 33 in Concord, and they've got a live feed into the Chantel Cable network, and it's on in about 3/4 or maybe a little bit more of the entire state. And so we have to compact our church service into about a 28-minute program every week, and that's kind of hard to do, but we get it in there. And it's shown just about everywhere, and I think it's on about at least four times a week. Donna and I were way out of town somewhere one night sitting in a McDonald's, and I always, when I go out of town, I'll stick a hat on and some dark glasses or whatever, you know, and Donna, she doesn't, and so she's easy to spot. And we saw an old lady get up and come across McDonald's, and she starts leaning down and staring. And I said, oh boy, here it comes. And she walks up and she looked at Donna, she says, I know you. And then she looked at me and she said, and if I know her, I know you too. And she said, I watch the program every week and I really enjoy it. You know, that was really sweet. And so you never know who it reaches. And so I'm just really, really grateful for Gethsemane Baptist, Carlton Duck, and all of them that give us this program that we have on every week, give us the opportunity. Another one that I'm grateful for is our live stream program that we're streaming right now on Facebook, and then we're on YouTube in the end of the day, and we have a regular professional recording back there as well. But last week during our service, we found out that we had viewers in Ireland, Scotland, Los Angeles, a lot of local, and then also in upstate New York. Not to mention all of the people that were out sick or whatever, or at home or shut in, that watch us every week on Facebook and on YouTube as well. And this was not possible until just a few years ago to do something like this. And it's just been miraculous. I saw where Francis McFall checked in. Hey, Dr. McFall, good to see, good for you to see us today. on here, and just a lot of people are watching, and a lot of people are being reached. I've had people even write to me about they got saved or they wanted to know more about the Lord or whatever because of the streaming program, and it just expands and expands and expands. And so we're grateful to have an online group of folks that watch us as well, and I'm very, very grateful for that. Another thing that I'm grateful for is our academy. Fellowship Christian Academy now has a full-fledged online school from grades 1 through 12? Kindergarten through 12, okay? And then an adult program as well, where people that did not finish high school can get an actual high school diploma studying through the academy. And Donna has students on there as far as Florida. And what is really kind of, it freaked me out for a while, and now I'm used to it. Sometimes we'll be out in public, and all of a sudden, here comes some person running, hollering, "Oh, Miss Donna," and just throwing both arms around her, and I'm reaching for my heat, and stepping back, and what's going on? But no, seriously, I'm used to it now, though, but these are people that got their diploma, and Donna runs all of the school. She handles all of that. And so I have no idea who's getting what or anything. I'll sign something once in a while, but, they'll all be, and that's one person we were sitting in a restaurant, and they comes running up and hug her, and they said, "Oh, I'm so glad I got my diploma through y'all. It opened doors for me, and I've got my job that I wanted, and I've been able to go to school and a college and all of this, and it's wonderful." And so it's an alternative to the government indoctrination centers that we have out here today. And so, and it really, really works. I wish they had computerized school when I was going. I would have been like Candy and graduated at the ripe old age of 15. And she's, I think, the youngest graduate we've ever had, 15 years old. And then we put her to work teaching after that. But I wasn't graced with an IQ that high, so I had to go all through the channels there. But we do have a wonderful program with our academy. Another thing that I'm most grateful for, and for all of the upgrades that we have had, is Amherst Theological Seminary. Over the years, we have had hundreds and hundreds of graduates all over the United States and overseas. And we have had an extensive prison program for people that are in prison to study through us as well. As a matter of fact, one time when Oscar was vice president, we got a phone call from a local prison somewhere east of here, and the warden, no, it was the chaplain, he said, "We've got a problem." And we said, "What is it?" And he said, "Well, we've got a couple of your graduates here have started a church in the prison. There are several hundred coming every Sunday. The warden has given them free rein to go around the prison and minister to people and pray over them." He said, "But they don't have any ministry credentials." And he said, "I'm a Lutheran, and so we can't do that here." And so Oscar took a group of people down, a delegation from the church one Sunday down there to their church, and listened to them and met with them, and then ordained 2 prisoners to the ministry, and they pastored that church. Now, one of them has since got out, and I guess the other one's still doing it. But starting a church in prison, I like that though, because you got a captive audience. You can't get up and leave because you ain't got nowhere to go. Most people could get up and hit on out the door in here, but he had an advantage. But seriously, they said that conditions in the prison had improved so much that it was a calm spirit there. And it was absolutely amazing. And we're seeing that everywhere. I had one man that was in prison, and he graduated, and he got out, and he came and spoke at a graduation. And I took him over to a recording studio that we had, just showing him around the building, and there was an electric grand piano in there. And he said, "Do you mind?" And I said, "No." And he sat down, and oh my goodness, he just played the most amazing song on there. And I said, "Where did you learn how to play like that?" And he said, I didn't say anything about it, but before I went to prison, I played piano for T.D. Jakes. And you just never know who you were reaching. We had a Muslim man that studied out of boredom, got saved, wrote a paper, a thesis actually on Islam versus Christianity, and is now pastoring a Christian church in South Carolina. So you just never know. And then we're trying to expand our local audience, so to speak, and students, and try to get more enrolled, because it's a quality education. It's very, very affordable, and it's biblically sound. And I'm just so grateful for Dr. Marika and the innovations that he is going to be bringing to the seminary. We're online now, and it's easy to register from that as well. Now, something that all of you can relate to that I'm thankful for is our music ministry. I'm just going to brag and say our music ministry is second to nobody. I don't care how big your church is. We got some good singers and musicians in here, and man, they are incredibly anointed. And I appreciate the fact that we have the best worship leader that we have ever had in this church. She just knows how to do that, and how to usher in the Spirit of the Lord in the service. And I said, when her and Anna get together, Elijah ain't got nothing on them. They can call fire down. That's why nobody sits on the front row when they're singing, because they're afraid of getting fried one day. But I'd love to hear all the singers. Now, I'm going to give credit where it's due to Diane Martin right here, because she and her husband were responsible for the music program that we have in this church to start with. Because a long time ago, I was an assistant pastor at a church that her and Bill had up in Buena Vista. And my job in the morning, I came in a little early, and I'd get the sound system set up and get everything tuned. And this time I put a soundtrack on and told Donna to just stand behind the mic and sing something so I could get everything adjusted. Well, y'all know what Donna can do. And they came walking in just as Donna was singing, and they started putting Donna to work. And so it went on and on and on. And then we had Torrance Hedrick to come and get everything organized and all that too. And so I appreciate the people that gave us the encouragement and the opportunity to do what we do now. I shall never forget it. God bless you, Diane. Love you so much. This lady has forgotten more about music than any of us have ever learned. And that's a fact. And she's not only a great singer, but an incredible guitar player. She don't want me to tell you all that, but she is. All right. If Bill Martin said she's the best he'd ever heard, then that's really something. All right. Now, our missions ministry, I am so thankful for, of Dawn and all of her crew that works with her, Debbie and all of them, and Leela. We provide food. We provide clothing, appliances, and Christmas gifts to some of the most poverty-ridden places you have ever seen in your life. Most people, when they think about missionaries, they think about getting on a boat or a plane and going over to China somewhere or to Africa somewhere or whatever, and rarely do they think that missions work is 3 to 6 hours away to some of the worst places. McDowell County, West Virginia, is the poorest county in America. And then we go to Harlan County, Kentucky, which is really not much different. And you've got some of the sweetest people in the world that are down there, and they desperately need our help. We had one local church in Harlan saying that now nobody helps us but Solid Rock. And that's a 6-hour drive. And are we going to help them? You better believe we will. Because God supplies all of the resources. He supplies the gas money. People donate that you've never met before that send money in to help us do this. And so we've just gotten done taking a whole lot of clothes and food and stuff down there a few weeks ago. And now we're getting ready to leave on December the 10th. and coming back on the 11th, Friday and Saturday, and we're going to take Christmas gifts down there and food to 2 communities in Harlan County, Cranks Creek and Wallens Creek, that are in desperate need. They have need for some people to go down there and repair their church building. We're trying to find some carpenters or whatever that are willing to go down there. But I'm just amazed at how this ministry is growing. We get ready to leave one community and we find out there's another one down the road that needs help. And Dawn has such a big heart, and she keeps me updated on the need down there. And so there's a women's shelter, I think, that we're getting ready to minister to down there as well. And we're also ministering to people locally that are in need, because the need is getting bigger and bigger and bigger as our economy is shrinking every year. And so I'm so grateful for the missions ministry that we have. I don't know whether this is a sermon or a documentary that I'm doing this morning, but I think the church needs to know what all we're doing, so maybe God will speak to your heart and you want to be part of one of these things, because it is absolutely amazing. Our radio ministry, there's a lot of people that have never tuned into our radio station, and we are growing. We broadcast at 94.5 FM. It's Christian programming 24 hours a day. And we're getting ready to upgrade our power before long. But we actually stream on 2 separate websites now and 2 separate servers because of the amount of influx. We're on crosscountryfm.com, and we're also on wrmvradio.com. But this morning I took a look at who was listening just off the crosscountryfm.com, and somebody from Sao Paulo, Brazil was tuned in. Somebody from Bellevue, Washington was tuned in. Somebody from Tokyo, Japan was listening. Barbersville, Kentucky, and Millboro, Virginia, not to mention the local listeners. And so, wow, I mean, it's just amazing. I saw one from Amsterdam, Holland the other night were listening to us. How do they know we're there? I don't know, but they do. And I have a way, if you tune in, I know where you are, okay? I'm probably going to have to delete this part of the radio station here, but nonetheless, it's absolutely amazing. And it's growing, and we're reaching a lot of people. As a matter of fact, there are a number of people that joined our church as a result of our radio ministry. They were tuning in, going down the road, and they listened to us. They found out where we were, and they called and asked us about the church and so forth and so on. And so I'm very glad for our radio ministry. We have some local preachers on there, and we have some syndicated preachers on there, but I guarantee you, you will hear music on there that you've never heard on any other station. Kid you not. Our furniture and firewood ministry has supplied so many people with furniture and appliances, and now firewood. You'd think firewood would be a real premium right now, but people are always giving Roger more firewood. And he's been able to supply quite a few people, and so if there's anybody in need of that, you see Roger, pray for him. He's sick at home, and him and his black cat are watching us right now. And Roger's got, I think it's the flu or whatever. Pray for him, because it's rare that he ever misses. And so he's been a wonderful help with this amazing ministry. We've had to expand the furniture bank and get a different room to put it in and so forth and so on. And then I'm grateful for our youth ministry. Youth ministry, let's see, how do you put this? What is the difference between a youth pastor and a savings bond? The savings bond eventually matures and starts making money. I wish I'd have known that when I used to be a youth pastor. I wish I'd have known that joke back then, because boy, wasn't that the truth. But a youth pastor is a different kind of animal, and they have to have a lot of patience to work with young people. And we're just getting off the ground, and we're having our youth programs on Wednesday nights starting at 6:30. and we've got a lot more plans for it. And the youth pastor picks up the kids in a extended stretch limousine. So if you want to, evidently somebody must have matured and made some money, because it won't me. But seriously, see Joey, if you got some kids that need to be picked up, he'll pick them up in that extended stretch limousine. Matter of fact, it was such a big car, he held youth class in it one night. Parked outside. That's interesting. And I'm grateful because our youth has, we've really needed an extensive program for them and for the little kids in the nursery, our nursery ministry up there. Y'all have no idea how wonderful it is, some of you do, to have Anna and all of her, and Kayla and all of her crew up there, Darla and all of them, working in that nursery. I can tell you what I would do if I got stuck doing that job. Y'all ain't never seen me suicidal before. But that's what y'all would have to call someone in there to wedge me out of the corner and out of the fetal position. When I used to teach at a Christian school part-time over in Madison Heights, not the one we have, but another one back around 95, the fall of 95. I volunteered to teach a K-5 class for the day. Oh my Lord. I had no idea what I was getting into. There were 20-some children in that class, and I was in there by myself. I had a list of what had to be done that day, and I thought I would give them a little different variety and vary from that list, and they freaked out. They said, no, Dr. Cash, you can't do that. You can't do that. You got to do what's on the list. Well, I was so frazzled. By lunchtime, a little boy comes up and sits on my knee, and he looked at me and he said, I want my mama. I looked at him and I said, I want my mama too. And he looked really upset, and he got down and went and sat back down. But I'm much more geared for teaching junior high. That's where my maturity level is around, according to Donna. Junior high and maybe 9th grade, and so I did pretty well with that. But the people up there that work that nursery are just absolutely amazing, because those kids are so full of energy and so rambunctious up there. Oh my goodness. And it takes a real special person to do that, and I'm certainly thankful for that ministry.